Hello guys, and welcome to the video review of my Orient Bambino V2, or the version 2 Bambino as it's called. My name is Dragos, and today I'm wearing my Polyot Caliber 3017 chronograph watch. If you haven't seen the video review of this one, go check it out on my channel. It's been hugely successful. Go contribute with a couple of views and maybe a couple of likes, who knows. Even though I have a million, a few cannot hurt. Okay, let's return to today's order of business, shall we? First of all, let's get the specs out of the way. This watch has a diameter of 40.5 millimeters. It has a thickness of 11.8 millimeters. It fits quite nicely under a shirt cuff. I will be doing a wrist shot at the end of the review, so you can see how this watch fits under a normal shirt cuff. It has a domed mineral crystal. That means it's made of glass, although let's just call it butter glass because it's practically like it's made of butter. And a screw-in case back. A screw-in case back, a polished screw-in case back, a water resistance of 30 meters. Orient have decided to proudly write in a very nice cursive font that this watch is water resist. Maybe they wrote resist because it's not really water resistant. I'm actually afraid to sweat when wearing this watch because 30 meters, it's not a lot of water resistance, and it's a dress piece. Also, the movement on it, it's the Orient Caliber 48743, non-hacking and non-hand winding. As you can see, when I turn the crown, nothing happens, you can hear nothing. And when I pull out the crown, also the second hand does not stop moving. I can just set the hands. Of course, I can stop the second hand, but if I turn the crown just the right amount backwards, but that's not real hacking, that's just cheating. Okay. Also, the price range that you can, I think you can still get these watches if they're not sold out, between $150 to $200. You can expect to pay in that price range. It's excellent value for money, but let's move on with the specs. Also, it has this, I don't want to call it horrible, but okay, let's just call it hard, shiny, not soft at all, probably brittle because I've been wearing this watch for maybe 6 or 7 months now. It's not been my daily beater, of course. I'm wearing it when I wear a shirt or maybe more formal clothing. But let's just say that I wore it probably out of 3 days, one of the 3 days I was wearing the Bambino. It was taken care of, but it has acquired a couple of scratches, and I would like to apologize for that. You will see them as we move on with the review, of course. Okay, so now that we got the specs out of the way, let's continue with the parts of the watch. First of all, I would like to talk about this case. It's the same case that you could find on the version 1, 2, and 3 Bambinos. It's made of stainless steel, of course. It is brushed on the sides and polished on the top. And speaking about the screw-in case back of this watch, as you can see, Orient likes to put a mirror finish on these, which looks excellent at first, but is impossible to keep smudge-free or scratch-free, at least in my case. But maybe I'm the only Orient Bambino wearer with hair on his hands made of barbed wire. Also, this really nice finish, mirror finish, can be seen on this lip, which sits on the case. It surrounds the crystal, and I think it's here because dress pieces from the 60s and 70s could have their crystal taken apart easily by inserting a watchmaker's tool right between the case and this lip. When inserting this tool, you can pop out the crystal with this lip. I don't know if this is the case with this piece as well, but I think it's paying homage to those earlier type of dress pieces. Actually, the whole styling of the watch is paying homage to timepieces of the 50s, the 60s. It has this vintage look to it, but with modern accents, which pay compliments to the styling, in my opinion. The dial has this pearl white finishing with a slight sunburst effect to it, and the Roman numerals, the watch hands. Let me just arrange them so you can see them nicely. Okay. And the watch hands and the Orient logo have this rose gold finishing on them, which along with the pearl white dial really complements this watch, and it plays really nicely with the light. I would just like to speak about the finishing on these watch hands, because I have not seen this on many timepieces of the price range. But when you have watch hands which have a mirror-like polishing to them, let me just focus, okay. On lesser expensive timepieces, you can get small, minute scratches which you can see with the jeweler's loupe. But I'm happy to report that at least on my Bambino, my watch hands and the watch numerals are scratch-free. Also, the Orient logo is perfectly put on the watch dial. This is not a common thing among pieces, among sub to $200 pieces. But it's not all good, sad to say. When inspecting the watch numerals, you can see that the watch dial does have like this strange warping effect around them. I think it's something to do with the manufacturing process of the dial. I have seen better ways to, of course, apply watch numerals on the dial, but only on higher end pieces. And this effect is only seen when inspecting the watch dial up close or with the loupe. Of course, I like to inspect all my watch dials with the loupe and up close. But when wearing it on your hands and watching it from, I don't know, normal watching distance of a watch, you cannot see this effect, and it looks quite excellent, if I'm honest. They chose to write water resist on the dial. I'm not really keen on that, because the watch is not really water resistant. Also, something which can only be found on this version 2 Bambino is the fact that they chose to print the second markers near the outside edge of the bezel. Not really a classic dress timepiece thing to do, but I think it suits this watch perfectly, and apart from giving it a more contemporary look, it makes it look smaller on your wrist, which is an advantage, considering all of these timepieces have 40.5 millimeter sizes, and even 41.5 on the V4 Bambino. Shame on you, Orient. Oh my god. Okay. I remember seeing this watch 1.5 years ago, first in a watch shop, and thinking to myself, this is the type of watch which is probably worn by a man who is classy, elegant, beautiful. And of course, not being any of those, I decided that I loved it, and I need to get one for myself. Okay, so to wrap up this review, let me just take a note of the all of the negatives and all of the positives that I find with this watch. First of all, the negatives. The domed crystal is not made of sapphire, it's made of mineral glass, and it will scratch quite easily. It sticks out. But it does look excellent. The vintage look that this domed crystal gives it, I would not replace it with a flat sapphire. I would definitely not replace it with a flat sapphire. Either give me a domed sapphire, or I'll just keep this domed mineral crystal, or give me plexiglass. It doesn't really matter. It looks excellent, and it gives it an excellent look. Also, another negative is the 21mm lug width. Finding perfectly matching straps for it will be a pain, but you can put 22mm straps on it and cut the ends off, slightly shave the ends off, I've heard. I'll try that in the future. And okay, another negative. Let me just think. No, that's pretty much it. It is a scratch magnet, but it's a dress piece. What do you expect? Also, the positives. You're looking at it, baby. I mean, it's beautiful. It will be timeless. This design, even though it's a 40mm lug, 40 millimeters diameter, trust me, in 10, 20, 30 years time, it will still look classy on your wrists. And the movement, which until now has been perfectly accurate. And I do mean perfectly. You might think I am BSing you, but wearing it or keeping it running daily, I pretty much don't really need to readjust this watch. I don't want to say that it has a ±0 seconds per day accuracy, because I think, of course, that would be ridiculous. But it is really, really, really accurate. I'm talking ±1-2 seconds per day. Of course, not all of these movements will be like this, but the power reserve of 40 hours is really a power reserve of 40 hours. And the watch accuracy, at least on my model, is, trust me, out of this world. Better than all of my other mechanical or automatic timepieces. Also, yeah, the price. You cannot speak about the positives about the watch without mentioning the price of it. Yeah, it's really low, and you can't really find any other automatic watches with this price that look quite so, I would not say classy, because of course you can find classy timepieces, but it looks, let me just say, more expensive than it really is. Yeah, it looks like $1 million on it. This has been my review on the Orient Bambino, and it has been a pleasure for me to show you guys my watch and tell you my opinion on it. I cannot recommend this piece highly enough for the money you pay for it. For $170, $150 or $160, you will have a fantastic dress piece, and you will be able to wear this on a tux at a black tie event with absolutely no problems, and I'm sure people will give you compliments on it. I also dream of a world where the Orient Bambino does have a sapphire domed crystal and the hacking and hand-winding movement, and is not bigger than 40.5 millimeters. But I guess it's just an imperfect world out there, huh? Also, I have another idea. I've seen collection reviews on other channels, especially Tristano's collection reviews from the Urban Gentry, and yeah, I absolutely love those videos, and I would be absolutely delighted if people from my audience, although small, I like to think that they're loyal and they like my videos. I would love to see people from my audience send me emails with pictures of their collections, and tell me a couple of things about their philosophy of collecting, a couple of things about their watches, and I would love to do video reviews of their collections here on my channel. Of course, free of charge, you know, I don't want to ask money for anything, but it would just be an absolute pleasure for me. So please send me an email to my email address, which I will put down below. Also, like, subscribe, dislike the video if you think that it sucked, and state your opinion down in the comments, why you liked it, why you disliked it, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.